Hey guys, so I know we didn't get to finish, but now we're here with part 2, and we left off on the Spurs. So let's jump right in. All right. So for the Spurs, I would say they have Dejounte Murray, they have Lamarcus Aldridge, and they have DeMar DeRozan. But Lamarcus Aldridge is getting older, so he won't be as good as he was in his prime. And DeMar DeRozan is the star for them, but they need more complementary players by his side. So I would put them in the average section. And now the Jazz. They have Donovan Mitchell and they have Rudy Gobert. That's their main two stars. And they almost made the playoffs last year, or I think they made the playoffs last year, but are they playoff contender this year? I would say they would be because Donovan Mitchell is just growing and growing. And yeah. So for the Clippers, so they have two stars right now, and they have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But but they don't have but since they lost Harrell, I think, yeah, Harrell to the Lakers, they don't really have any complementary players beside them. They're a good team, but I don't see them making the playoffs. The Suns, they have a young Devin Booker who continues to grow, and they have DeAndre Ayton also continuing to grow, and Mikal Bridges, who's also continuing to grow, but they're not good enough to make the playoffs. And Devin Booker's a star, but I'm not sure about DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges because they're not superstars yet. So I would say they're good. And especially with the addition of Chris Paul, they will be. I was going to put them in the average column, but since I remember they have Chris Paul, he's a veteran and he'll teach all these young players, so I think they would be a good team, but not playoff contending. Portland Trailblazers, they're on and off every year, and they're sometimes playoff contenders, sometimes good. And I would put them good this year. Or no, I would put them playoff contenders. Even though they lost Hassan Whiteside, Yusuf Nurkic is back, and Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are good. And Damian Lillard is their star player, and their complementary players are uh, are Yusuf Nurkic and CJ McCollum. So I would put them in the playoff contenders. And for the Sacramento Kings, I wouldn't say they're trash, but average. I would put them in the average spot only because they have De'Aaron Fox, who's way too underrated in the league, and Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley. And they're all growing, but I don't see them good enough to make the playoffs or even a good team enough. The Knicks, I don't think I need to explain this one. They're just trash. And, okay, moving on to the next one. We have the Pelicans. So the Pelicans, I would say they're good, but not playoff contending, only because they have Zion Williams. He's a star for them, and they have Brandon Ingram. So they only have two star players to guide the team, and that's not good enough to make the playoffs. So I would put them in the good section. And the Hornets here, with LaMelo Ball, I would put them in average. I was going to put them in trash. And since they have LaMelo Ball, I would put them in average because we haven't seen how LaMelo Ball will play. And last year they weren't very good. So I would put them in average, but they might boost up to be a good team.